Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video we're going to take a look at some of the Docker commands. Now if you missed the previous video, what we did in the previous video, we created a machine, a Ubuntu machine, which is 18.04 version of it, and we have used standard D2S v3. What we did, we used a SSH key-based authentication to make sure that our authentication to the machine is more secure. Only port 22 is open right now, and we installed the Docker component inside the machine from our terminal. So if you see here, I'm logged into this machine and I'm logged in as student Docker Ubuntu, and that's the name of the machine, Docker Ubuntu. Okay, this is the machine. And here if you run the Docker, you see my Docker commands there available to me. So we have already installed Docker. So in this video we're just gonna play with the Docker commands, some of them inside this Ubuntu virtual machine that is really running in an Azure environment, and just see how the Docker works in a Ubuntu machine. If you're a Docker master, it really you know all about it. This video is more kind of geared towards if you're studying for the Azure certification exam and really may not have a lot of background in Docker and how it works, and you just need to have a good little bit of understanding how you can deploy Docker containers, how to work with them. This is like a very basic introductory video. Okay, so again, if you just type Docker, you will see that you have lots of guidelines, lots of commands just telling you, okay, there are lots of different things that how to run this command, what is available for you. Okay, so in this one, let's start with the command docker image. Let's see. So I really do not have any images with me. Let's see, docker images, image ls or images ls. So now if I have a permission denied, so just use with sudo. Okay, so docker image ls, it's telling you that I do not have any no docker images right now. Okay, so the way you pull images is by running the docker pull command. So that is simply docker pull, and there is a hello world image that everybody used to test whether our, if I can type right, if I can I have to make sure that I'm using sudo, or I need to change it back to root. Okay, so now what is saying, since I ran the docker pull hello world, this command, it has now downloaded this image. Okay, pull is now complete, and it's telling you this is the digest, that's the SHA value of that image that we have downloaded. And if you run the same command that we ran, the ls command, if I run this one, now you see that it's now showing up, this image is now showing up. It's a very small image right there, it's a hello world latest. So we have that. So now this is just that you have downloaded the docker image. Now what we want to do, we want to run that image, so to create a running container. To do that, it's again, so sudo docker then run, and you can provide the name of the container, so hello world. So since you already have an image, it's going to use that image and spin up a container for you. Okay, so let's click on that, and there we go. So you get a message, hello from Docker. This message shows that your installation appears to be working correctly, and that's it. So you know that your container is running fine, everything is doing great. Okay, your installation has been successful. Now let's do something little bit more advanced. Okay, there is one application server that is called Nginx, which is very popular these days. Say you want to run a Nginx image or container. Okay, so you can directly write something like that, like let's see, sudo, okay, docker run and then say a name, test web, so web server, okay, dash D, then port 8080, and then to map to port 80 within the Nginx. Okay, so let's see if that works. Okay, so what is going on right now? And this time I did not download that Nginx image. I'm just running the command directly, and it will download all the files. Okay, and it will spin up a container for me. So again, if you go and run your docker image ls, I would expect that this image is not available to us. Okay, all right, so once we have that, what we want to know is 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 that is that Nginx available to me or not. So what I can do, I can do a curl on localhost, because in the localhost I told in my command, in my local machine, map my port. From my port, if I go to that port, take that, map that port to port 80 in my container. So if I do 8080 in here, there we go. So you see that it's serving, so I'm getting the HTML response back. Okay, so that's the HTML page. It's a doc type. So our Nginx server is now serving this particular page back to me. So I know by running this command, okay, I not only have downloaded that Nginx container as an image, but we have spin up an instance, and in that instance I'm running a default Nginx web page on our port 80. Okay, so we are good up to this point. So let's say you want to get into that container now. So right now I'm still inside this virtual machine. Now let's get inside that machine. So how do you do that? So for that, again, let's start with sudo exec, and then dash it means interactive, and then we called it test. What did we call that machine? Let's see, test web. So let's stick to the same name, test web, and then do slash bin and bash. So interactive, and log me into the bin bash shell. So let's hit enter. Oh, so exec command did not find. Oh, I need the docker. So you have to put the docker command in front of it. So now you see it has taken me inside the docker instance. I'm logged in as root, and I'm here. So now you can do ls. So this is everything that you have inside the docker. And if you want to look inside what we have inside the index file, where is actually hosted, so you can go to user share, okay, Nginx, then let's see HTML, and there is our index.html file. So what I want to do, come back, do a cd to this folder, do a ls on it. So there is my index. Okay, I can now vi on that index file. Okay, vi command is not found. What about vim? Is vim available? Vim is also not available in this file. Okay, so let's see, echo add this to the bottom, bottom of the index file. Okay, so let's see if that helps, and I want to send this to index.html. So that probably helps. So let's just verify. Going, oh, lace is also not available. What about cat? cat index HTML. Okay, so now you see that we have modified, okay, and we have said add this to the bottom of the index file. So we have modified the HTML file. Okay, so you can see Control D or detach, maybe no, Control D. Yeah, so now we are back to the Ubuntu machine. So what we want to do, we want to do our curl command one more time and look at that. So this is now, again, we're outside the container. We made some changes to the container. Now we are back outside of the container, and we can now see the changes that are made in this one. Okay, so that's pretty good. We have seen how the Docker works and everything. So the other thing that is kind of interesting is the changes that we made. These changes are really not persistent. So if you destroy your container now and you spin up a new instance from the image that you created, those changes are not going to be persistent. So there are ways to do that, but I guess in this video I just want to give you just a little bit of flavor. So what you can do really, you can go and do a Google search on Docker quick start commands, something like that. Okay, and you get started with Docker for Windows, Docker start, use the Docker command line. There are a whole bunch of documentation in here. So what I would highly advise you guys to take a look at and go through some basic tutorial of Docker. And like over here, this is from dockercurriculum.com. That looks like pretty interesting. Containers, what are containers? There's a getting started prerequisite, setting up your computer, hello world we have kind of already done. Playing with busybox. The busybox is something, another Docker we can do a pull, like we can maybe try out this one real quick. So if I come over here, where's my command line? There's my command line. So here you are still, remember, everything we are doing here, we are doing inside a virtual machine that is hosted in the Azure environment. So we can do that. So now I have the busybox that's downloaded to me, and again it's saying the busybox pull commands fetches the images from the Docker registry. Docker run runs the busybox. We have already done that. So you can, if you can run this command, run busybox echo, you should get hello from the busybox. So let's see if I can prove that. Right there, Docker run busybox echo hello from busybox. Actually, let's change that. Hi, let's call it hi. Okay, so I keep forgetting that you need to have the root access. So there we go. So hi from busybox. Okay, so the busybox is really what is doing is just taking and echoing back whatever you are typing over there. All right. Another interesting thing that you should, command that you should know, that any containers that are running, there is a command called docker ps-a. So if I run sudo docker ps-a, that should give us all the running containers. Okay, so I know that we have started the hello world first, then we started the Nginx, and now we are playing with the busybox. So I have 3 containers that are running. Okay, so that's good. And A means all, it's give me all information, and the command is gonna tell you what it's doing. And this one we kind of looked at it. If we try to go, you can do either sh or bin bash. That will land you to the command line environment, right? There's some other commands. If you want to remove something, you can run docker rm, and then you can provide the image IDs to remove the images. The containers that are stopped and not running, you can also run something like docker rm and this particular command. And I think that's about it. I mean, you can go through a lot more. Docker images, we looked at a little bit here. Docker pool, Ubuntu, the pool can pool a lots and lots and lots of stuff. Docker file is actually something I'm going to talk about in a different video, in a next video. So things that I'm not covering is creating a Docker volume. So I'll just tell you the concept just a little. So if you want to persist a change when there are multiple containers running, and if you change something in one container, you want the change to become persistent in the other containers as well. You should be using a Docker volumes, and the command is again Docker volume create, and you just create a volume and you just go from there. All right, so play with it. This video is not really just about Azure. This is mainly how you can play with Docker. I just used a Docker Ubuntu machine that I deployed in the previous video. So let's meet in the next video where we can play with the Docker file some more, and then we'll get into a little bit more into the Azure and how you can upload these containers and images to the Docker Hub and also to the Azure Container Registry. With that, thank you. If you're preparing for the exam, good luck.